When the mainstream media basically doesn't spend much time, if any, covering the issues affecting your particular economic group, one solution is to activate your own voice. So what does it take? What are the roles, equipment, and resources necessary to create a monthly magazine that is completely 100% volunteer run? If no one's getting paid, it's got to be passion, right?
That's right, and to tell us how that passion inspires the Women's Press Collective and how it turns into practical action, we welcome 3 members of its team. Lisa Daniel is Operations Manager. Welcome to the show. Courtney Francis, the Education Coordinator. And from the Women's Press Collective's volunteer system staff, we also have Yasmin Jarrera.
Hi.
Thank all of you for coming on to BK Live today. So tell us, Lisa, tell us about WPC and its mission from the beginning.
I'd be happy to. Our organization started in 1982 in Brooklyn, so we've been around now for 33 years. And what's important to understand about our organization is its genesis and where we come from, which is that a number of our founders, the women who founded it, were involved in grassroots organizing of very low-paid women workers. So this is, for example, women doing farm work. Agricultural work is one of the lowest paid types of work you can do in this country, even though all of us need it. We all rely on the food. In-home caregiving, domestic work. So our founders were involved in efforts where women were trying to build the strength of organization to advance their own position materially, to do something about working conditions, living conditions. And one of the things, when you do that type of organizing work, you see very quickly that the mainstream corporate media is not an ally in getting your voice out. So our founders saw that there needed to be a truly alternative media, that women, low-paid women workers, all of us who are marginalized in any way outside of mainstream, economic, social, political power, that we have a way to advance our cause.
And that was why there is a need for that alternative media, yes?
Exactly.
What do you find the basic strategies are in creating that alternative media and keeping it going in 2015?
Sure. What our basic strategy is that we unite together low-income and working people, particularly women, community organizers, but uniting together with media workers. So a lot of our members, in fact, are working journalists, graphic artists, press operators, people in publishing, some of whom do work for the large corporate media, but are looking for a way that they can take the skills they have and the passion that they have for the truth, for giving a voice to the community, and apply that in a way that will really advance the community interests. So our basic strategy is to unite a membership of media workers and people in the community, and then together, through all volunteer effort, we run a free of charge benefit program where we actually teach skills of writing, design, printing. How do you tell your story? How do you write a compelling headline? How do you lay out a magazine?
And Courtney and Yasmin are 2 of those workers, if I'm not mistaken, right? Courtney, you're the head of education. What can you tell us about your role?
Well, what I do is I'm also, we're all volunteer, and part of what I do at WPC is I help teach classes and have provided education around independent press, other things happening in the media, conditions for low-income workers. We show films at our office. We teach classes about our method of organizing. That's part of what I do, is helping the program work.
Right. So you're teaching them how to do the work themselves. It's not just this collaboration component, it's actually them learning how to do it.
Yes.
And is it just the print media, or is there also a community outreach aspect? I feel like there is. Maybe you guys can speak.
Yeah, definitely. There absolutely is. I mean, that's how I met Yasmin. I met Yasmin through doing a speaking engagement at Brooklyn College. We do literature tables in the community. We do canvases to small businesses. It definitely has that community organizing component, bringing together everyone who is affected by not having a voice. And so,
Yasmin, what's your role at the Women's Press Collective?
Coming into WPC, I was expecting to learn, the skills of journalism, writing, printing, and publishing. And I did do that, all those things contribute to the production of the magazine. But another thing that we do is we do community outreach. We do business canvassing, literature tables, just basically going out into the streets of Brooklyn, talking to people about what we do, letting them know, how they can help and how they can support.
Perfect. And so do you organize all of the volunteers? How many does it take? I mean, this really is a volunteer-run organization, if I'm correct about that. How many does it take? How many people? What? Tell me about it.
Well, it's a collective effort, so on a given day there will be a few of us in the office. Depending on how many people show up, we all come together and we all go out into the streets, and we always work as a team.
And then we also have different other roles, like a volunteer coordinator. We have a speaking engagement coordinator, or other, there are different roles within the organization. And then if you're a volunteer, you can learn how to do those roles. I teach that. I teach people how to make the phone calls. I teach people how to write pitches and how to use them and how to talk to people really about what we're doing. That's part of what it is. And it really brings in this aspect of how there's leadership that can be built in the community at that grassroots level. Someone comes in and they're a volunteer, but yet they're running our volunteer program, or they're running our speaking engagement system, where they're or other aspects of our program, mailing out letters and whatever it is. But that's how it really works. It really is that kind of people coming together. It's kind of simple, but it's complex. But it is, it is just people coming together, just making it happen. Absolutely.
So this is the winter 2015 issue. What types of stories do you tell?
We, for our membership magazine, we talk about the issues that our members are facing. So for example, we've done stories about the conditions of home health care workers. We had a member who came and she said, oh, maybe this magazine can tell my story. So we worked with her through a writer training session. So we have a professional writer, professional journalist, work and provide hands-on training to a member who wants to tell their story. So that became her story. And that ran as the lead in one of our issues. Or the one that you're displaying now has one of our members named Jessley. She's a Brooklyn resident in Canarsie. She's originally from Haiti. And when we met her 5 years ago, she said she was trying to start a women's organization in her hometown. So we have then worked with her for the years.
Is that the story on the cover?
Yes, okay. That's the lead story. It's both about her organization in Haiti, which she has now established with her sister, her cousin, other women in Haiti. They have 100 members who are beginning the process of starting cooperative economic projects where the women can work together. And we were able to do two things. One is help her, assist her through the free of charge publishing benefit that we run. So if you do that type of organizing, you need a flyer to reach the women and give them a way to come together. So we helped her design and print flyers in Creole. She needed a logo. She needed the things that help you organize.
Right. So there's the design, the translation, the printing of all of those different aspects. That's amazing. So how do these things get funded?
Our program is completely free of charge. So with somebody like Jessley who comes to us, there is no charge for that. Our own organization, we are funded exclusively through membership donations and community supporters. We take no government funding on principle. That's so that we stay independent. We take no money with strings attached. We have literally spent the last 33 years building an organization that's truly community supported. It's independent media that's supported by the community, and that runs a program completely free of charge to aid particularly women, although not exclusively, but with a particular focus on women who are really on the front lines of economic and social issues, and they're stepping into leadership and they're building organization, and they need a voice and they need tools to do that.
What is now our producer tells us you don't have social media, you don't have a website. What is your basic kind of marketing strategies? Can we bring you in on this?
Sure, no problem. It's going out there. It's the most traditional marketing, or traditional kind of marketing, is just going out to the community. Effective for our purposes is taking that people-to-people approach. Again, setting up a literature table in front of a supermarket or in a college campus, or again, knocking on the doors of businesses. It really is this kind of face-to-face, arm's-length approach. I know that's kind of
different
in this day and age, but it's what works. I mean, those kinds of movements that we are always referring to and talking about, these great movements in like the 60s and all these things. I mean, were really built, that face-to-face, and does build a stronger organization, because at that point you really are getting to know people and you really are building a base of people in the community that can, that can rely on us being there. And you know, our offices are open 7 days a week. I mean, that's one of the things that's really impressive about what we're trying to do. It really is a people to people approach that we're taking.
So what, if any, sort of community outreach events do you have coming up in the near future, maybe this summer?
Oh, yeah. The African Arts Festival will be at the International African Arts Festival all 4 days. We definitely take advantage of the street fairs, definitely. I mean, the Smith Street Fair, 7th Avenue Fair, wherever. I mean, that's kind of where we pop up. But besides that, we are in the community, you know, again, at least 2 or 3 times a week. Like I said, we walk into a local store and just ask them, can we set up a table out here? And then hand out a bunch of flyers, you know, have 2 or 3 volunteers out on the street. People stop, they say, what is this? And they sign up, you know, for what we're doing, explaining to them what we do, absolutely, yeah.
What do you think is the most surprising thing about continuing with a print media operation in 2015 in this day and age?
The most surprising thing, I guess, particularly in kind of this day and age, which is so much of media has moved towards digital and social media, is how much people really appreciate print. I mean, you know, honestly, when we take it out, people want a physical magazine. They want that
about
substance.
Holding it and reading it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also helps for our purposes as a grassroots organization. For us, it's the best possible organizing tool. It's people to people. It is, as you know, Courtney was saying, the great movements of our country, the civil rights movement, the labor movement, those were built before the internet. The organizing that developed that strength and that unity was developed through person to person. It was, you know, the canvassing, the door to door, the passing a leaflet around. And we draw from that tradition and see the power of it. So, and we get a good response. People want print, and you know, it's sustainable. It's an environmentally sustainable form of communication. There's tremendous benefits to it. So.
Now, if we weren't to meet face to face
Yes.
in a local business and you hand me this publication, how could I otherwise get my hand on it, and how could I then volunteer?
And can men volunteer?
Yes, they
Okay.
can. You're welcome to come.
Thank
Come
you.
down to our office, 12th Street, no problem.
I'll be
yes.
there.
Yes, a lot of the sort of spreading the word is, you know, member to member. You know, I may take the magazine one day. We have members distribute it, so you may pick it up in a store, you may pick it up in a doctor's office, you may pick it up in a, you know, a bar, or, you know, wherever our members are, that's where our magazine goes. We do a lot of speaking, we go to college campuses, and then what we want people to see through the magazine is how much they can participate. That it's not just a magazine, it's not just grassroots reporting, but there's a whole community-based media organization behind that that is entirely volunteer-run. We teach all the skills, and people can participate. If somebody wants to come down, learn how to do interviews and grassroots reporting, we teach that. Some of our members who are professional journalists, you know, will sit down and teach you, how do you prepare for an interview? How do you go out and get that story? How do you do it in a way that's truthful and respectful of the people? So we teach the layout, we teach everything. So we absolutely have, you know, we need volunteers. We need people to join with us. There's lots of roles that people can play, from learning to teaching.
What kinds of roles? What kinds of roles you're looking for specifically, and how can we get in touch?
Well, the best way to get in touch with us is to call us. Our
What's that number?
That number is 718-222-0405, and we are open 7 days a week.
Where is the office located?
It's at 68 12th Street
Okay.
in Brooklyn, near 2nd Avenue. And then our outreach expands, you know, all over the New York City area. And
So it's not just in Brooklyn?
It's not. Our membership is all 5 boroughs. We've always been in Brooklyn, and more than half of our membership is Brooklyn. But we reach beyond that as well. And honestly, Brooklyn is so diverse. So many of our members come from other countries that we've built connections internationally as well. That's, for example, the Haiti story.
Well, thank you. We're all going to get involved. Lisa, Courtney, Yasmin, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for the great
so
work
much.
that you do with the Women's Press Collective.
Thank you.
We'll hope you come back again sometime. Thanks.
Thank you for having us.